mean, everything's like winding down for the year, so I'm like, I really don't have anything.
Yeah.
You can catch me at a drunk Christmas party next weekend.
Guys, welcome to another episode of Horror at the Store. I'm your host, Katie Hettenbach. We got it out. Woo! Today, we have a amazing person here today. He's a comedian, a paid regular at the Comedy Store. He has his own podcast here with the Comedy Store that's Just Saying. It's Justin Martindale.
It's so good to have you.
Good to have you. Whoa. So
I'm in podcast.
Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Thank you for having me. There we go. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. I'm so happy you're here.
Yeah, me too. It's about damn time, said Lizzo.
Yeah. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
Me too.
Krampusness and wonderfulness. Are you a big horror fan?
Oh, absolutely.
What is your favorite horror movie?
I mean, it depends. There's so many genres of it. I mean, I love a classic Jaws. I love a psychological thriller like The Others with Nicole Kidman. I'm not a big gory person. I can take it, but I'm like, do we really need this? Like an Eli Roth kind of hostile thing.
Eli Roth
I can't
is
do.
Like too much for me too.
I'm trying to think. What was the last? I loved. What was it? Barbarian. I thought was fantastic this year.
So good.
I mean, I love horror films, and so like the chance to talk about a Christmas horror film, I was like, yes, please.
Here
so
for it.
thank you for asking me to do this. Yes,
Thank you for being willing to, rip this movie to shreds, but also praise it.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, another really good classic Christmas horror film is Black Christmas, the original.
We are gonna do that.
Oh yeah, that's one of the scariest movies of all time.
Really? Okay.
I think so. Just because it's so like, I don't want to give anything away to those who haven't seen it, but please watch it, especially during Christmas, because it's that classic like just girls at the sorority house, just. We're trying to go home for the holidays, and we're getting these weird phone calls and ensue. Yeah, it's great.
We love to see that. We love a good sorority house killing. Have you seen The House on Sorority Row?
The House on Story Road?
Sorority Row.
Oh, Sorority Road. No, is that a newer one?
No, it's older.
Oh no, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, actually, no. So they have it. I don't know when it was made. The first one came out, but then the remake came out, which is even worse. I believe Carrie Fisher is in the remake.
Oh, probably.
So it's not good, but
we got Carrie Fisher for it.
So that's they blew all of their money on that.
Yeah, for sure. They're like, oh look, Princess Leia's in it.
You're like, amazing. This is gonna get people to come in to see it, and then it's like 4 or 3 on IMDb, and you're like, yeah, this went well. This did great. We love to see it. Yeah. So you were telling me about this ghost story that you had in the this phantom face
for the store. Yeah, there was this was like years ago, so it was like I couldn't even remember, maybe like 7, 8, or 9 years ago, maybe 10. There was a night here where it was me and Jade Catapretta, Matt Edgar, Tony Hinchcliffe, I think Benji Alflalo, like back in the day when the store never closed. Yeah. So it'd be like, okay, we're going to hang out till like 3 a.m. And it was okay.
Yeah. It was fine.
And we actually went, around back where Ghostface is. There's the Smoker's Annex behind there. And so we were back there, and Matt and Tony and all them were like, hey, let's go inside up into the lighting grid, because they were door guys, so they knew how not to trip the system for the alarms. I hope I'm not like getting them in trouble, but whatever. Tony's in Austin now. He's fine. And so to do that, they had to scale the wall. They had to climb. There's a ladder in the back, and they climbed up this ladder. I was like drunk and stoned, I think, at the time. Still am. No. And I was like, you know what? I'm tall. I'm like 6'3". I'm not climbing a ladder at like 4 a.m. Yeah. Thank God. I was like, I'm not Superman right now. So I sat down and was like, you just guys go, and I'll just be here when you guys, are done.
Yeah.
And so they went up in there, And you can hear them like boom, 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 walking around up there. And I decided that I was like, you know what? There's a chair like right by the door. So I sat in this chair and I'm just waiting for them. I'm on my phone. And then all of a sudden I start kind of like drifting off. And the minute I close my eyes, I'm like out. You hear this boom, like this like loud just crash that I heard from the outside of the building. And I woke up startled, and all of a sudden, after that crash, like 2 seconds go by, and you hear,
oh my God.
And you just hear everyone running.
Oh God.
And they all come down, and I remember Matt Edgar just opening the door, and he's like, run, there's somebody up there with us, And I was like, what? And they're like, we saw somebody, there's somebody up there, oh my God. We all just started running. It was one of those things where like, if people start running, and you're just like,
I'm gonna go too. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, and so it was really weird. They got spooked, and I just remember being like, well, that was weird, because they were like, there was nobody in the building. The whole building was shut down. Hence the like, let's go up there and hang out and smoke a joint in the lighting booth or whatever.
I mean, it is 3 a.m. and that's considered like the most prime time for like spirits to be, out and about.
Yeah,
but
like the doors were locked, everything.
That's creepy.
Yeah, it is weird.
That's weird.
Yeah. And I wasn't even like, I didn't even like experience it. I experienced it as a bystander, It's just like, that's terrifying for me.
You're like, I don't think if I saw that, I probably would have passed away as well.
I would have lost it.
I would have started crying. Mm-hmm. I had a slight paranormal, again, I don't know if it's paranormal, I don't know. I always am very factual about things, but I was PAing on Dave season 2 and we were filming at the Millennium Biltmore, and we were like downstairs, and I was like, hey, I'm just gonna go, like they had like 7 subfloors. It's like a 100-year-old hotel.
Sure.
People have been murdered, suicides, everything there. The Black Dahlia was last seen.
That's the hotel downtown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where they had the Bridgerton experience. Yeah. And it's a weird, creepy, shining hotel.
It's really pretty though.
Yeah, it's like gorgeous.
It's terrifying. But I was down there, I heard like 3 knocks where I was standing before, and it was like silent, freaked me out, ran upstairs, came back down. I was like, okay, just sit down here for 20 minutes, just have your recorder on. Within like 15 seconds, like I felt like a different, like a change of air. And it was like every hair in my body stood up. And there's like a, when you're cold versus it's some type of electric current. That's what it was. And I was like, okay, you know what, I don't know what this is, but I can acknowledge I
have to go.
This is weird.
Yeah.
And I'm going to exit swiftly.
For sure. I'm the same way. I'll just get like a bloop, and I'm like, I'm good.
I'm like,
we did it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you so much for that.
I respect your ghostness, and I'm out.
And I hope you had a good life and are passing,
a great afterlife. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm gonna leave now. Yeah. Forever. Yeah.
I got that shit all the time.
Yeah, yeah. So we watched Krampus. Great movie. Wonderful.
I love it. Because I love the folklore behind it. It's actually based off actual folklore. Also, I have a friend of mine who is in the movie.
Oh, I did not know that.
My friend Allison Tolman is the aunt.
Oh my God.
I think her name's Linda, I believe.
The one that's the
white trash aunt.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
I was
not Aunt Dorothy.
Okay, Aunt Dorothy.
No,
I was like
the aunt to like the kid. Yeah.
Got it. She's like, I'm so sorry we brought the aunt that you didn't want.
Yeah, we brought Aunt Dorothy. We have the dog. Sorry, heads up. Yeah, so
sorry.
She and I went to school together, and so that was like her first. She had done Fargo, the series for AMC, and then she got Krampus, and I remember her leaving because they taped it in New Zealand, which is strange.
That's kind of a weird place to film it, but especially a holiday movie where you're like, they don't have snow.
Yeah, so they did like a whole bunch of artificial snow, and she's like, "Yeah, Toni Collette's in it."
Amazing.
And I'm like, "What?" And she went and shot it, and I just remember it being awesome. And then the director directed Trick or Treat. And so I remember we went and saw, I want to say we went and saw It or It 2 or some in the theater. And like he came with us because she's friends with him. And so like we were sitting next to him and we were watching like It. And then like we left the theater and all these people came up to him with like trick or treat, like fan art for him to sign. And I was like, what is this? And they're like, he's doing a trick or treat too. And I'm like, oh, that's him. So yeah, it was really cool. So yeah, I was really stoked to like review this movie because I know someone in it.
Oh yes, you're like, I'm gonna destroy this, but also praise you. She did a great job.
Yeah, oh, she's fantastic.
She was so fun and hilarious. There were so many funny moments in this film too, which I think I've seen like parts of it throughout. You know, what did it come out in 2015?
Yeah,
I've seen like parts of it, but like never actually like sat down to watch the full thing. But honestly, Tony and what is your friend's name? Allison. Crushed it.
Yeah,
they, like,
seriously.
They like carried it. Yeah, honestly, and I love Toni Collette too, and her in like Hereditary. Have you seen her?
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
fantastic.
I actually watched it. Like the last time I saw it was actually on Halloween night.
Amazing.
Yeah,
it's such a disturbing movie.
It's so weird,
and
I still have questions.
I do too.
Yeah,
like a lot of questions, but also I feel like those are okay to be unanswered because I feel like it's so open-ended. Yeah,
you can like interpret it however you want.
Yeah.
But Toni Collette's just like that, like amazing actress where it's like, oh, you're going to do a Christmas horror film. And she's like, okay, sounds fun.
Whatever. She's also in another movie called The Way, Way Back. Have you ever seen that? It's like a drom-com. Steve Carell's in it. Really good, but she's just like a mom in it and is just wonderful. I feel like she's such an underrated actress and we don't appreciate her enough.
There's a whole bunch of those.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, especially Toni. I'm like, you deserve some type of award.
Yeah.
Type of acknowledgement.
Well, she did The Staircase, which was fantastic. So hopefully she'll get something for that.
What is that?
It's on HBO. The case, was like getting off of Krampus. We're like, let's talk about Toni Collette.
This is more.
It was a documentary about this man who was accused of killing his wife by throwing her down the staircase.
Okay.
And then there was like maybe an owl was involved. Maybe she was just drunk and she slipped. But they redid, or they made a series out of the documentary and the trial, and she plays the wife who fell down the stairs. Really good job. Really good job. I would love to drink like Sauvignon Blanc with Toni Collette. Any wine will do, actually.
She seems like just a fun person overall.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Love her.
Yeah, she's the best. She's the best. Okay, so back to Krampus.
Back to Krampus.
So, what stuck out for you for the film? Like, was there anything that was like good, bad?
I mean, I didn't. It's one of those movies that, like, I'm really quick to judge like if this movie's trash or not. You know, because I'll be like, oh God, this is stupid.
Yeah.
But it's the legend of a folklore.
Yes.
So you know what you're getting at the top of it. And I love that the opening sequence is just showing how horrible people are during the holidays.
But with like all of like I wrote this down, children and people fighting and being
like Black Friday, being tased, like, just Karens and trash.
And then if you see Black Friday now, it's like no one went out. Like I went to Target the day after Black Friday, everything was still there.
Yeah,
like I was like, no one shopped.
No one shops, and everyone does online now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's just kind of like, I think, especially the pandemic was just like, just order your packages and they come to you.
Yeah,
which sucks for retail, but at the same time, it's like there's nothing more disgusting to me than like people trampling other people for like a fucking teddy bear. You're just like, what is wrong with you?
Like, we've evolved to this. We all deserve sick. We deserve like that big meteor now.
Yeah. Or like doors opening and just hordes of people just grabbing it's like a shit,
zombie apocalypse,
a blanket, and like just being like, I need 9 of these. It's just like, get out of here.
You don't need 9 of them. You need 1. Actually, you don't need anything.
No,
just stay home. You're fine.
You're just there to fight.
There's no reason to fight. Yeah.
So I loved that aspect of it. I did love the little kid Max, who clearly has anger issues.
Big anger issues.
I was like,
oh my God. He's just beating kids up, and he's like, this is my second fight this year.
I believe in Santa. Don't fuck with me.
Santa's fucking real. Don't tell. Oh, essential question. When did you stop believing in Santa?
Oh, God. I think I was, let's see, 7?
Okay.
Is that too old?
No.
6 or 7?
I was in the 6th grade and my brother ruined it for me. He was like, I was like, oh yeah, because, the iPod Santa got me. And he goes, no, Dad got you that iPod. I was like, no, Santa didn't.
Where are you,
I'm like,
Christmas?
well, I guess Krampus is coming now. He's going to drag me to hellfire.
I know. I was the little lesbian cousin to my sister who was like 5. Mm-hmm. She was either 5 or 6. She was either... let's see. Well, no, hold on. I'm trying to get the time frame right. So she probably was she was like 4, I think. She was like 4 or 5, and I was a shitty brother. I think I was like 8 or 9, and I was like, he's not real. And my mom was like, why would you tell your 4-year-old sister this? And I was like, just this little shithead kid. And yeah, like I totally ruined it for her. But then, I didn't ruin it for my 2 younger brothers. But yeah. But I also believe like in the spirit. I'm like Omi, the grandmama. I was like, Santa lives within you.
Yeah, he's within all of us.
Yeah.
Until you stop believing and then Krampus comes. Which honestly, I thought that was really dramatic with the kid being like, oh, I believe in Santa. I'm the only one. Everyone's like making fun of you. Like, oh, you wrote a freaking list for Santa.
And can I just say this? Because watching this again, I was like, how horrible that these 2 little like lesbian cousins rip this letter out of his hand at the dinner table. Mind you, there's chaos, like, because this, very in the spirit of like National Lampoon's Christmas, like Randy Quaid and his wife come with their like shithead kids, and then this weird like Augustus Gloop from Willy Wonka's son and the dog, and then Aunt Dorothy's coming in there drinking her peppermint schnapps, and like
she's like, let's get drunk.
I know, and Toni Collette's just like, oh, I just wanted a CB2 Christmas.
She's
That's
like,
all
I just want to eat caviar.
I know.
That's it.
And then so they're sitting there, and these kids like grab his letter and then read it at the table, and everyone's just staring, listening. I'm like, be like enough. We're not reading this. Yeah. Like there was no like, hey, stop.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, we're just gonna let them continue to embarrass my child in front of everybody. Yeah, and it was really, really sad. I felt bad for Max. And then, of course, he goes upstairs and he rips it up, and the letter flies up into the
window,
sky.
And it starts snowing immediately. And you're like, at that point, you'd be like, hey, something weird's going on.
Yeah.
Which he did, but of course, no one believes him because he's a child. And why would you believe a child?
Because, children during the holidays, you should never believe them.
You should never believe them. You always threaten them with Santa. And be like,
yeah.
Have you seen that thing where parents are like, even like in the summer, they're like, you're not being good, I'm going to call Santa. And then they had like a fake phone call to be like, oh, talk to Santa right now, tell him what you did. And they like discipline their kids by
scaring them.
By being like, Santa's not going to bring you anything this year. If you like, that's gotta fuck you up in some way, shape,
There's
or form.
nothing more fun than Christmas trauma for a child. I really do believe that. I mean, I think you can do with Santa. I mean, any holiday, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy. Ooh. If you don't put your tooth under the pillow, which is just a weird pagan thing as well. Like,
it's so creepy.
This fell out of your head, put it under a pillow and get $1.
It's so, you got $1?
I'm from the different side of the tracks.
God damn, okay. I mean, I stopped.
What did you get? Just a can of corn?
I wish. God, that would have been amazing. What did I get? No, like I would like put them on my pillow, but then I would get sad. I'm like, where did my teeth go? So I wrote this long letter to the Tooth Fairy being like, hey, I get what you're doing. I love it. But can I keep my teeth? I want to keep them.
That's not how it works.
I'm like, can I keep it? Can I like give it to you to like borrow? And they're like, okay. And then she wrote back like, okay, that's cool. And then I would like, but my mom was the Tooth Fairy, and she would like hide like the money under my mattress or like in the other room. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, this is too much. But it was like always like a quarter or something.
Oh, wow.
Like, we had money. She just was like, I don't want to give my child.
Well, you also were like, I want to keep my teeth. That's not how it works.
She also wanted to keep my teeth.
Oh, weird.
Well, that's like also in case I, die or go
missing.
And then they can like find my body with my teeth.
Wow,
baby
she's
teeth.
already thinking of her dead kid's dental records.
Yeah, that's what you do. That's why parents keep them. I know.
She's like, I don't know about this one. She could go at any point.
They always say, my parents always said, you and your brother were the kids that survived.
Wow.
And they're like, there were other ones, but they just didn't work out. They just didn't last. And
Wait,
I'm like,
you have other kids? Like you have siblings that went missing?
no, that's just what they say. That's what they said.
Got
And
it.
then I told people that, and they're like, "That's really kind of a fucked up thing you said." I'm like, "Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why my
yeah.
humor's so dark. Got it. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Started there.
Yeah.
We love to see that.
Oh, that is funny. They wait, where were we going with the
Krampus.
the wish?
The wish.
Okay, yes. Trying to remember. So then, yeah, everything's snow, or it gets like negative 55 degrees
Yes,
outside.
and then it's just like there's just immediate snow day.
Yeah. Omi, the grandmother, who I love.
She's so sweet. I was like German, and then she's like
She's German,
but she was like are they the same? Austrian and German? Because then I was like doing a little research, and I thought that Krampus, however you want to call it, is. I was like, oh, this is German because like I'm very German. I was like, oh, we've always talked about it. We've always joked about it, but it's also like an Austrian folklore.
It's just Eastern European. Yeah,
I know that. I know that. I was.
It's just like how there's many interpretations of Santa, like Papa Noel and all that kind of stuff. It's like, but it's more of an Eastern European thing. Like we don't have Krampus over here because everyone's like Satan, and it's like it's not Satan.
It's not Satan.
It's not Satan. It's the shadow of Saint Nicholas.
Exactly.
That's exactly
and
what they did.
You in Europe around this time. They have Krampus, where they
Krampus festivals.
Yes, where they have grown men run through the streets
on stilts and stuff. I love it.
Scare the shit out of
It's
kids.
so awesome.
I want to go so bad. I've never been out of the country before, but I feel like if I was going to go, it would be for that.
Absolutely. And everyone's like, yay, Krampus. Like I just think it's the coolest thing.
And they're just terrorizing children, and it's hilarious.
And I love it because it's like this weird, if we're going into like horror genres now, it's very much like Santa's Tethered a la Us.
Yeah.
Like you have this version or like the multiverse. Like this is the good version of Santa and the elves and the, gingerbread men and all that stuff. And then here's the underworld version of that. So I thought that was kind of cool how it's kind of like that what's his name? Oh my God, Jordan Peele.
Yes.
Us, like here are the people on the surface, and then here's the version of you
and
down
then
below.
Here's when they cross, and mix, and hellfire literally comes. The snowmen outside that start appearing. That like the boys like, there's a snowman outside. His parents are like, no, we have dinner.
Yeah.
We have to make food. Oh, we can't leave now. And the other family's like, oh, we should probably get out of here. And they're like, no, stay. The roads are so bad. It's these snowmen. I've always was like, it's kind of creepy to like look outside one day and there's just a snowman that you didn't make.
Yeah.
That has actually happened to me once. One of my neighbors did that, and I was like, okay, hey, that's weird. That's weird. I hadn't seen this movie, but if I had, I would have probably cried.
And you didn't see them make it in the process.
No.
It was just, so weird.
I woke up and it was there. I'm like, they're like, oh, it's like cute because like you're like a little kid. I'm like, yeah, but like,
who made the snowman?
Who made this? It's creepy. Why did it? No, thank you. That's weird.
And this is where the movie kind of takes a turn, where you're just like, okay, they're stuck in the house. The phones don't work. No electricity, but Omi knows keep the fire lit.
No, yeah, that's why you always have a fire.
And that's what I kind of was like, I forgot, because like then you have Beth, the sister.
Yes.
Who has her boyfriend with his Christmas bong.
And she's like, I want to go see him.
I want to see him, just make sure he's okay. So she goes out into the blizzard tundra.
And immediately just gets kidnapped by Krampus.
Well, she sees him on the roof of her boyfriend. Hopping over from roof to roof.
Which, if you saw that, what would you do? Because if I saw that, I'd probably be like, this is it. This is I'm going to die. Because he's at least like 15 feet tall.
He's gigantic. Yeah, he's like this big shadow gremlin king.
Yes.
And she loses it, and she screams, and she goes under this like car, and she sees a Jack in the Box there.
That thing was
Which you don't see till later, right? Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah. And so you're like, what's happening? And then you're like, oh. And then you're like, is she dead?
You're like, oh, they
Did it
killed
eat
the
her?
child.
She killed her,
They
right?
just killed the child. Okay, this is this kind of movie.
This is that movie.
Got it.
And then she doesn't come home. And so then the dad, played by Adam
Scott. I think it's Adam Scott.
Adam Scott, yes. Adam Scott and David Cockner go look for him in his big old, what was it? His Hummer.
And they're like,
with all his guns. So we're addressing
like,
gun control.
We are this time we are thankful for our redneck family.
Yes, because they have guns to protect us.
I'm always thankful for my family who lives on farms who have guns. I'm like, you know what? If there's a zombie apocalypse, or if this stuff,
they have guns.
I know where to go.
Yeah,
I know to come to you.
Exactly. And so they go into the house. So they go to the boyfriend's house, and the boyfriend's house is just demolished. Like the chimney is split. It is frozen over, and you're like, what happened here? And there's a gingerbread with a knife in it, right? And they're like, oh, what a sick fuck to do that. And then you find out later, like, oh, like these gingerbread are up to something. So that was probably the mom. So that's why I was kind of confused. Is Krampus just going around this whole town just killing everybody?
Because of this one boy.
Because of this one shitty kid's wish? That's why I was kind of like, I guess, yeah. I guess because the town was horrible, in the beginning you saw. So Krampus is just full Christmas genocide.
He's like, everyone. He's like, okay, you want everyone to go? Fine. Everyone's going to go.
Everyone's going. Like, we're taking over the whole town, because then they go into the, like, delivery guy's car, and he's frozen with icicles all over his nose. And then, so they're like, okay, we have to find Beth. They go back. All of a sudden their Hummer is destroyed. Yeah. There's some snow creature. I thought that was scary.
That's because we never found out really what it was.
It was just like some snow snake or something that was just like pulling people down.
It was giving
tremors. Tremors.
Yeah.
Christmas tremors. And it bites David, but they get him out because Adam shoots the thing. Yeah. They get back to the house, and they're like, we've got to lock down.
And they're like, don't tell the kids. And they're like, well, you should probably tell them. And then, of course, the kids start wandering.
Freaking out and like, oh, God. My only problem with this movie. I knew what it was. I got it. The only problem was, where do they find all that wood to board up their windows?
That's what I literally wrote that down. I was like, like every movie that's like, oh, we have, like there's an apocalypse, or, we need to, barricade ourselves. All of a sudden they have just a abundance amount of wood. I think the only true one that like was pretty realistic is This Is the End, where they're all we have are like James Franco's paintings. Let's use those to barricade. Like that made sense. This one, it's like they have thousands of planks of wood.
Piles of just plywood.
Where do you get these?
I don't know. And nails.
I'm like, you have all the tools that you need.
Well, they did have 2 lesbian daughters.
They did. And
so
and that does help.
It does help. They're like, we got it, Dad.
They're like, and then they have the one kid, the little chubby kid who didn't say anything, who just was like,
oh yeah, he had like a weird
lip thing.
Like, it was like a heart-shaped cherub lip.
And all he wanted to do was eat chocolate. He was
Augustus.
Yes.
So as they're boarding everything up, they tell everybody, like, we got to keep the fire lit. They're on watch. There's always like a watch, right? And they're like, okay, I'm going to take the first watch. You get some sleep. And of course, he falls asleep, and the fire goes out. Yeah. And all of a sudden you hear footsteps on the roof. And then this hook comes down the chimney, and this little gingerbread man wakes up the little fat kid, and he goes over there and, of course, grabs his cookie and eats it, wraps it around him. He gets sucked up the chimney.
He gone.
And that was a horrifying experience because that was everybody as a family witnessing this happen.
Yes.
And Tony Collette sees this gingerbread person and freaks her out because she's like, what is this?
Yeah. And because, again, she doesn't, the only person who knows about this or who believes it is the little boy and Omi, the grandma. And that's like the thing of, you don't believe the little kid when they see like a monster in their bed, but it might,
it might actually be.
It might actually be.
And I think that was the reality. And I was a little underwhelmed by the reaction.
Yeah.
Of witnessing a child get sucked up into a chimney.
Yeah, they were pretty nonchalant about it.
And they were just like, no.
Oh, God.
No,
anyways, do you guys want...
My son that I gave birth to,
But they also forgot their baby in the car. Do you remember that?
They did forget the baby in the car.
The baby in the car, they like don't hold the baby the whole time. They just let the baby roam around.
Yeah, and Dorothy's just feeding it Jack Daniels.
I'm like honestly, at this point, you shouldn't have had the baby in the movie at all because it seemed like there was no point to the baby besides being taken by an elf in the end.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
And the mom being like, I'm going to go mom mode and sacrifice myself. I'm like, at that point, your baby's gone.
Well, this leads us up to a really great point because now they're like, okay, well, David Cockner's like, I'm going to go out and get my son. He opens the door and he sees there's more snowmen. Now, this part confused me because was the son turned into a snowman?
Oh.
Do you remember when he saw the tiny little snowman in the yard?
I never thought about that. Because then the first one, would that be the boyfriend?
No. It was I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, because if you're saying it's like
kind of like Killer Clowns when they put him in the cotton candy.
But then why would it be in their yard and not in his yard?
Right. But it was like just this little small one. He even looked at the little snowman and said his son's name. Yeah.
I missed that. Oh my God.
He was like Howie Jr. or whatever his name was. Yeah. And and you just see this little snowman and it kind of looks like it has his face. But then I was like, why didn't he just see if he's in there? Because it looked like they turned him into a snowman. But then we get into the folklore part of it where Omi is just like, all right, you bitches, I have a tale to tell.
You're like, sit down.
My family in my village was trash and we all fought. And we had claymation, which I loved.
I was like, okay, so we went from full live action to claymation all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I was like, interesting choice, but we're here for it. Keep going.
It was very Candyman. I loved it. Puppets and whatnot.
I was just like, oh, okay, we're here now. Cool. I love that.
Her parents like rip up her Santa letter. And she's like, I'm giving up on Santa too. I want my family dead. And so Krampus, of course, comes. Destroys, I guess, that entire village, but then spares her so she can be a witness as to what it means to not be a believer in Christmas. And he winks at her and walks away on his cloven hooves and gives her a little ornament that says Krampus on it, right? And so she shows the family the ornament, and they're all like, do you believe what she's saying? And I'm like, yes, we believe her. She just got, my cousin just got sucked up into the chimney by a gingerbread.
Her trauma's clearly real.
She knows what's up.
She knows what's happening.
And so then we go into this legend, and the two lesbian cousins go up into the attic because they hear Beth, because now Krampus can now impersonate, or his minions can impersonate people's voices,
which is terrifying.
But it's also like a part of there's another movie that does that where it's like, hey, come over here, and I'm like, I can't remember. It might be It. I don't remember where it's
honestly
like
It. Yeah,
and it's like, oh, you hear somebody familiar.
It's my grandma who and then you're like, there
I think it could be It.
And you're,
and so they impersonate Beth, the daughter who's disappeared. So they go up into the attic. And mind you, we left out that the delivery guy delivered a huge bag of presents in an old Christmas style Santa bag that they put up in there. And these are all demonic presents from Krampus, right? So all these presents come to life. And the girls start screaming upstairs. So everyone runs up to the attic.
And they're gone.
There we see.
It's like this.
Jester.
This like Jack in the Box is now like a it's like a real it's not even it's just like it's a slug looking ass thing, and it's got like, honestly, it's giving Stranger Things, like the Dementor, or not Dementor, what Demigorgon.
The Demigorgon.
With like the mouth.
It's also giving Predator.
Yeah, and it's just it's like,
yeah,
and it's just, but it's like a clown face.
Yeah,
and
it's good.
And it just starts like running away, but it's eating people.
But it's also giving Worm from Poltergeist too,
and it's like snake everything.
Yes,
it's creepy. It's like it's trying to like slither away,
but it has a box at the end of it, and it's like, ugh.
Like can't move.
And it swallowed one of the twins.
Yeah, and
it swallowed one of the girls.
The other twin is like scarred and like
paralyzed and wet. Yeah,
I'm like has like goo everywhere.
Yeah,
like what is this goo? Disgusting. And then like the parents are up there and they're like, oh, this is the first time you actually see like a genuine fear reaction.
Yeah,
like,
we just saw a terrifying Jack in the Box now.
You're like, where was this earlier?
Yeah.
But you know, better late than never.
Yeah.
They're just absolutely screaming, and the like Tony starts like going after the thing, and then like this bird.
The bird was my everything. The creepy doll face with the wings. I was like, what is this?
And it had like I think it had like an upside down cross on its head.
Maybe, sure.
I was like, that was probably the most terrifying.
I loved that one. I thought it was great. And then it like, and it has sharp teeth and it goes down.
It has like a tongue and it starts like.
It's licking Toni Collette. Like, it was so funny. I was laughing so hard.
To like hang her with like the holiday lights.
Yeah.
And then the aunt, she gets sister, she gets attacked by, I think it was
a bear.
It was the bear.
It was a stuffed teddy bear.
It's the cute.
It's that guy. Yeah.
It's the cute little teddy bear.
Yeah. And he's just like, he's like going after her. Then she loses it. She grabs a gun. She starts going after everybody.
Yeah, because she's just like, you know what? I'm done. And then
this is where my daughters get it from. Yeah.
I'm also a lesbian. Let's get it.
And she just starts going after all of them. And then meanwhile, David Cockner is in the kitchen with like battling gingerbread men.
And that was like, and they got a hold of a freaking nail gun.
Yeah.
And they're just going at it. He's like, shit.
Yeah, terrifying. And they're like, hee, very Gremlins.
And then, when he walked in the room, because he heard something in the other room, he's like, oh, hey, dog, come here. Go in the other room. And the dog's like, I'm going to stay here.
Oh, the dog, I know.
And I was like, you know what? You should go get in there. You're the person. The dog doesn't want to do it, but then the dog saves the day and eats the gingerbread man.
But then the dog goes after them, and he's gone too.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
and then
it was a brave dog. You know what? She tried her best
to wrap this movie up, because then I'm trying to remember what happens. Like Aunt Dorothy's there. Oh. Then it's like they've tackled all the attic people or all the toys, and then all of a sudden
run downstairs.
We go to another tier.
Yeah,
elves.
Yeah.
So we have Santa's elves, then you have Krampus's elves, and they're these like weird, like pagan, like doll face, labyrinth-esque.
And they start just breaking in, going down the chimney everywhere, and they just start like
taking people. They take the baby very labyrinth,
very quickly, and then like the dad's like, fuck it, and just like runs out, and then the sister also goes out.
Yeah.
And then everyone else is just like, well, I guess we're just here. And then do they leave? Right, like the elves, the elves like
the elves
out?
Leave because Krampus is like,
he's like,
and they're like,
they're like, master, you're here.
Yes. Whenever there's a horn, like you must stop immediately and be like, back to the shadows we go. Yeah,
sire, for you.
And so he's like, I'm going to take it from here. But then I'm trying to remember, this is where then everyone's like, fuck it, we're leaving.
Yeah, and they're like, everyone hold hands,
we're going. And then, so then this is where everyone just kind of gets picked off. Like Aunt Dorothy.
No. Dorothy gets taken by one of the... No, she was the first one to get taken because before the elves came in, they like did like a lasso thing around her. She goes, oh shit. And they pull her out. They
suck her out, yeah.
And then the elves come in.
That's right.
And then as like the family, like the dad, the mom, the little boy, and the grandma, they're like, okay, we're going to hold hands and we're going to get out of here. Oh, and then one of the lesbians is also there.
She's them too. Yeah. But how did David Cockner's character go? Do you remember?
I think he went fuck it and went after the.
Oh, and he just disappears.
Yeah, he was he's like, this is it. Let's go. He's like, I got guns.
Very a la The Mist, which is one of my favorite movies as well. This
tragic ending.
Blizzard. Yes. Oh yeah. And so then they all get into a car. Oh, mind you, no, they're all like, Omi, come on, and Omi's like, I'm staying behind. Be good. And locks the door, boards it back up.
Which,
and so
honestly,
Omi has to face Krampus.
That relationship between the little boy and Omi, that was really sweet. Mm-hmm. Omi's like, I got you. I know what you're like. I believe you, whatever.
Yeah.
And no one else believed. And then to Omi being like, no, I'm going to battle my trauma.
Yeah.
Face on.
I'm going to face the thing that spared me once, and maybe it'll spare me once again.
Yeah.
And that is not the case.
It did not. No, it did not. It got right up in there. And
Krampus shows up.
He breaks everything.
Splits the damn chimney. And
how did he fit down that chimney?
Oh, he doesn't. That's why it's just yeah.
And then he one horn comes out of the other.
So
and
good.
He gets up, and I'm like, okay, that's.
And that face, it's so good.
He's creepy.
Glossy eyes and long screaming mouth with teeth.
And
very
then his
Santa.
Tongue is
it's so good. I loved it. And these long, tenderly hands
and she's just staring him dead on. She's like, I might be old, but I got this.
And he immediately recognizes her. And
he goes, look in my toy bag, and then the toys.
Yep, all the toys grab Omi.
Terrifying. Yeah. Oh my god, I always thought that Krampus only attacked children. Mm-hmm. That was always bad kids dragged to hell. That's what the lore was. But I was adults. I'm he be getting adults too,
and the whole town, and dogs apparently.
Yeah, everyone. Nobody's safe.
Nobody's safe.
If one kid does not believe in Santa or the spirit of the jolly holiday, you're all toast.
And then exactly. And then then they run to the car. Everyone's making a free for all. And this is where everyone just starts getting picked the fuck off.
Yes.
There's the underground, maybe they're the elves. I think they might be the elves digging through and pulling people down, a la Tremors, but the dad gets pulled down. Toni Collette's trying to get into the car. She looks up. She just gets sucked down. And you're oh my God, it's so much.
And then Adam Scott, the dad, he's like, I'm going to defend us with the 3 bullets I have left. And he's like, shit. And then he closes his eyes and he's like, oh.
Sucked down. Then the cousin, she's in the car with Max. She's like, we've got to drive the car.
Go, Max, go. And he's like, it's a stick shift. I don't know how to drive stick. We only have automatic. I'm like... That's the tragic thing.
And then the elves open the car, grab her. She just falls into the snow, disappears forever. And we're now left with Max all by himself. Yeah, he is the lone survivor. He is the end girl of the entire show.
Yeah. And he hears the girl screaming.
Yeah.
And is like, I'm going to follow it. I'm going to go. And he's running after her. And then he sees Krampus and everybody.
His whole cohorts having some weird witch pagan festival.
And then
I loved it.
He's like, take me instead. And then the ground starts splitting.
We get full Drag Me to Hell underworld happening. Everything's cracking. He's like, I take back my wish. I want my family back. And Krampus comes over and he sees the little boy crying and he grabs one of his tears and he looks and he's like, no.
He's like, no, and the kid goes.
And then he throws the cousin into the fiery pit. And then he grabs Max, and you're like, oh, shit. You're waiting. You think Krampus is going to be like, okay, you believe now.
Yeah.
Good for you, kid.
Yeah, he's like, no, you get
no. And he throws him down there. And you're just like, well, shit, I guess this whole family is dead now. And then all of a sudden we get a epilogue of just him waking up in bed.
It was a dream. And I was like, oh, my God, here we go.
It was a dream. Oh my God, I'm so thankful for my family.
We're going down on Christmas. Everybody's there. He's like, Mom, Dad, I'm so glad you're alive.
And everyone's like, honey, where have you been?
You're so lovey right now. What's going on? It's like you just saw us get murdered or something. I don't know.
We made cookies. Relax.
Like Coco.
We've been here the whole time.
Omi's like, I know what you've been through.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets his little gift. He's like, oh, what's this from? He opens it, and what is it? The little ornament.
The Krampus ornament.
And
everyone, you start hearing dialogue from the movie, which you think the cast is all hearing, and they're like, oh, we're all witnessing that we are all dead, and we are kind of stuck in this Christmas purgatory now. And then you see a pan of the house all the way. It's, it pans out from the living room, goes into the house, and you just see this like Christmas ornament ball snow globe that Krampus just puts on, and you just see he has a whole bunch of these like ornaments, which I'm assuming are the other houses in the city or whatever.
Terrifying to think about, that you're just stuck in this forever, especially if that family, when you don't get along.
Yeah,
that would be. Have you had like a family experience like that where you're like, I love my family, but like this one person, if they come to Thanksgiving,
yes,
they
for
come
sure.
to Christmas.
Not during the holidays or anything, but I remember like summer vacation. If like this one relative came, we were all like, oh God.
You're like, there's the fun sucker.
Yeah. Actually, we had probably like 2 or 3.
Okay.
Yeah. But here's another horror story.
Yes.
Wait, what did you rate this movie out of 10?
Gave it a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10?
I liked it. I'm also very harsh with my rating.
Okay, fair enough.
I barely give anything a 10.
Yeah.
I gave it a 6. I really enjoyed it. But there's I didn't, obviously I'm not gonna believe everything because it's it's a movie. But I like when I can get sucked into the lore and get sucked into the movie and like forget about that for a second. That's when I'm like, oh, 10. I was like this dialogue's chunky here, da 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 da. So I do it from a very film analysis. But what about you? What did you say?
I would give it like an 8.5 for sure. As a Christmas horror film,
it's good.
Amazing.
It's amazing.
I loved it. It taps into like, how people are as a society. We're greedy, we're selfish, we're judgmental, and I liked the message that it had of like, oh, you always hear about like, oh, I have to be on Santa's nice list. Yeah. It's like, well, what if you're on the naughty list?
Like,
what happens
then? Like you don't get coal. You get
sucked into hell.
Yes.
I just really enjoyed it. And I want to say a story real quick before. I had not seen Krampus prior to when I went to this, but at Universal Studios Horror Nights, they actually had a Krampus maze.
Oh my God.
Which was so cool. It was one of my top Halloween mazes.
That sounds actually terrifying.
And they had the house because they go all out at Universal.
Oh,
so they'll actually have like the lot and they had the house, snowmen in the yard, Christmas lights, Christmas music. The lights are like flickering, like it's all like, fucked up and weird.
That's so cool.
And you go into the house and it was such a well done maze because you're like, they hit you with the smell. You're like, oh, it smells like, cookies and gingerbread. And you're like, oh, this is fun. So you like go through Christmas and there's Christmas trees lit. And then you like take a turn and then these like gingerbread start coming after you and you see the gingerbread with the knife. So good. And then they do like the elves like waiting in the corner.
Oh my God, terrifying.
My friend Derek, who also went to school with me and Allison, we went as a group.
Oh God.
Allison was not there, but we all went, and there was a scene where we're in the living room and you have the like chimney all cracked and everything. Yeah. And he is walking, and he's just like Mr. like macho.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not gonna be scared by anything. Yeah,
he's like this big like actor. He's been on like Friday Night Lights and stuff. So he's like walking around like, this isn't fucking. And he's in front of us walking around the chimney. So we have time to look over and see Krampus in the corner, like hurled, like just waiting.
Yeah,
and he doesn't see him. So we all step back and we're like, this is going to be everything. He turns around and Krampus is there, and I have never seen a grown man fly as far. He was like, "Whoa!" And we all lost it. It was so perfect. But yeah, we go up into the attic. You see like the teddy bear eating. Like our friend Allison, I took a picture, and I was like, "Look, you're being eaten in the attic."
You're like, it is me. It's true.
Honestly, was one of the best like Halloween mazes. I loved it. And it was just and I love that because you're like. Even in the movie too, they're like, it's Christmas. Nothing bad happens during Christmas.
Yeah, and they're like, that's as soon as you say that, that's when something bad happens.
Which is also a nod to The Strangers because they're like, oh, nothing happens during the day. The nightmare has to be over. The sun's up, and you're like, no,
anything can happen.
So I loved all the little kind of nods. That's why I love horror because it gives you a little nod to
they're always they're always referencing each other, and it's meta.
Well, even the toys were like Puppet Master, you know? So it was, I loved it. I thought it was great. I love Krampus. I actually have a book that I'm going to read about Krampus. So
oh my God.
I'm like obsessed.
You're this is really fueling my fire.
It's just cool. I just think it's just such a weird, like, who came up with this? Like, it's just this like random.
The overall lore is like terrifying.
Yeah. Like
it's again, like threatening your kids even more. I think
People were using it against like the Balenciaga campaign that came out because people were like, look, it's an image of a demon eating a baby. I'm like, no, it's Krampus. It's like Christmas. We need justice for Krampus. Like, we can't like.
He's not a demon. He's misunderstood.
Yeah, he's just the shadow of Saint Nicholas. Relax.
He just wants to celebrate Christmas.
Yeah.
Do you think he is like sad? Like, do you think he's like, what happened to him that he's like, now I have to do this to other people? Where's his backstory?
That's what I want.
I want more on him.
Give me Krampus origin story.
That's what we want.
Who is it? Is Saint? Because I feel like Santa is just this like jolly man that lives in the North Pole.
Were they brothers?
Well, and
then it's like it's like the whole Satan thing where it's like
that's what I was just
you were
an
angel and like you got fallen down, but now
were you Santa's brother that got like really jealous and got condemned to the underworld to like celebrate Christmas?
And then Satan's like, hey, I have a gig for you.
Yeah,
like Jesus, Santa, Satan. Krampus.
Yeah, that's what I want. I think we should do, if there is a Krampus 2, we do Krampus origin story.
I'm here for it. Yeah.
I mean, let's pitch that now.
Let's do it. Okay. I love it.
Done.
Everyone's in it again.
Krampus 2.
Including us.
Still Krampusing.
Yes. Oh, I love that. That's good. And directed by.
Yeah. I should like hit him up and
everyone.
Tell him to do it.
Be like, hey.
Oh, I love it.
We got an idea for you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for being here. Do you have anything you want to promote?
I mean, my God, I would love for you guys to listen to my podcast as well, Just Sayin, here at the Comedy Store podcast network. Comes out every Tuesday night, Pacific time, 9:00. And then the following Monday are videos, which you can watch on the Comedy Store YouTube page. And just follow me on Instagram, Justin Martindale. Follow me on Twitter, if that's still a thing, at Just Martindale. And I'll be coming around the mountain, I guess, in January again with some more tour dates and stuff. So yeah.
Can't wait to see it.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
You're amazing. And thank you to our sponsor, FYE. You can find them in store or at FYE.com. Thanks, guys.